In this video, we're going to explore how we can use AI to act as a specific persona. So I love this technique. I think it's really, really useful for a whole variety of reasons, and we're going to jump into some of them today. And I'd love to hear from you. How do you use AI for a specific persona? And also, do you enjoy kind of this new thing, TL Draw? I've been experimenting with it, and I think it's quite a nice way to actually teach new ideas. All right, so let's break it down. Why can personas be so useful, and why is AI actually so good at doing personas? I always say that, a persona, that AI is a pattern and prediction machine. Like, it is trained on so much information, and in the most basic sense, it is predicting what is the most likely next word based on everything that has come before it. Now, because it has so much information, it can pattern really well. And there's a few things that you can do with this. Firstly, you can give it information about yourself, your writing style, who you are, your context, and those examples can be used for AI to replicate your pattern. We as humans have patterns as well. And that's why I think AI can actually pick this up so well. So the first is actually can help, pattern based on us, but it can also pattern on anyone else, really, that it's been trained on, that it's got information on. And so not only that, but also kind of imaginary type of personas. And we'll look at what that looks like later. So we've got a few examples really just to jump into this and actually see what it looks like. All right, so the first one is we're going to have AI act as Albert Einstein and explain the key findings of our annual impact report to a bright 8-year-old using everyday analogy. All right, don't know why we zoomed in like that. All right, so let's just check this prompt. So I just went and first impact report that popped up was green pieces. So let's actually add this to the chat. And we're going to provide that prompt. Act as Albert Einstein, explain the key findings of this annual impact report to a bright 8-year-old. So now it's going to be able to actually leverage the information that we've uploaded it. You can obviously as well provide a website URL that the AI can actually go and read all the information from, or you could even paste anything in. Let us imagine something simple. Yes, little one, says Albert Einstein with a gentle smile. Think about a long row of stepping stones across a river. Some children are already near the end, hopping confidently from stone to stone. Some in the middle, a bit wobbly, but trying. Okay, that's pretty cool. And then we can actually say, that is what your impact report shows. People are in all different places in how they think and feel, but the best way to help them change is not one big push, but many small, gentle steps forward. Okay, I think that's really nice. And you can hear that is very much the style of Albert Einstein. Now we're going to ask it to act as a different style. I'll use dictation mode here. Now I'd like you to narrate the key takeaways from this impact report as if you were David Adam. I forgot his name for a second. All right, so let us observe together a most fascinating landscape. In this vast economy of human thought and feeling, there's no single creature called the public. Instead, we find a rich diversity, individuals scattered across wide terrain, each with a different stage of awareness, empathy, and action. I'd love to be able to actually mimic his accent, but, I can't. But hopefully you can see that we've already just asked, two different styles, Albert Einstein and David Attenborough, and we were able to see the AI actually mimic that patterning quite well. All right, let's do another one. And this is actually one that I use personally. I have an AI agent that acts as my accountability coach at the moment, and it is designed to act like David Goggins, who's, if you don't know, he's very, very just like doesn't take no for an answer, pushes through things, incredible athlete, and his style's not for everyone. Some of my friends don't really like it, but if you like it, go for it. So I'm going to say, act as David Goggins. Here's my to-do list for the week. Tell me what I'm avoiding and call it out like you mean it. We'll do this one in Claude for something different. We'll just use Sonnet so it's a bit quicker. And again, I'm just going to use voice dictation to give it a bit of a list. So this week I've actually got quite a lot on. I'm trying to, do a LinkedIn post every day. I've got 2 YouTube videos to do. I've got a webinar workshop tonight. I've got project deadlines that I've got to meet. and I'd like to, try and get back to the gym. All right, so now we're asking it to act like David Goggins. This is probably going to come out quite blunt, to the point. Listen up, I'm not here to make you feel good. You just told me everything I need to know about you, not from what's on that list, but from how you said it. I'd like to, try and get back to the gym. There it is. That's the one you're avoiding. Everything else on the list, you said it with certainty. LinkedIn post, blah, blah, blah. But the gym, you hedged it. You buried it at the end. You wrapped it in. I'd like to, and try. You're already negotiating with yourself, and the week hasn't even started yet. Very valid, very valid. And as I said, straight to the point. All right, now we can ask, Claude to act as a different type of persona. So thanks so much. Now do a different persona. Someone more warm, like coming across like a loving mum. So same content, my to-do list, just trying to help me motivate in actually getting it done. Oh, sweetheart, come here for a second. Look at this list. Just look at it. You're doing so much, and I want you to know I see you. I really do. A LinkedIn post every single day, a webinar tonight. Okay. But baby, can I gently point out something out? You put the gym last, and not just last, you said like I tried to. Okay, so same like content, like it's picked up around how I actually spoke about going back to the gym, and it's actually just reframed it in how it messages me. And I love that, because you can pick the style. You can pick a style that resonates best with you, depending on the type of conversation that you are having. All right, one more. Let's do act as William Shakespeare. Write this lapsed donor email in early modern day English and iambic rhythm. Keep the ask intact. Back to ChatGPT. Please draft me a lapsed fundraising email. Just keep it generic, just kind of like a template. All right, we just want something that we can actually start with before we get it, before we actually get it to act like Shakespeare. All right, right now something important is happening every day, blah, blah, blah. All right, nothing great. And now we're actually going to ask it to rewrite it like William Shakespeare. Dear first name, good friend whose hand once lent our cause such grace, we write to thee across the passing years. Thy former gift yet echoes in this place, a light that shone and softened many fears. But now that light burns faint, its fuel grown thin, and still the need doth breath on every side. Okay, that's awesome. I love it. So there you've got a fundraising email written in the style of Shakespeare. So hopefully you can see from this that AI can pattern and predict because it has all of that training material. So let's go back down. We've got a few other roles that could be really useful for you, and then I'll just share one or two ways that you can actually do this and some takeaways from them. So one thing you could do is you could get AI to act as a skeptical donor. So this is more like a general persona, as I said before. This isn't, a specific individual, but just a skeptical donor. They've long-time donor starting to doubt whether your programs actually work. And one of the things we'll look at next is how you could run voice mode. ChatGPT has voice mode in the desktop app, in the web browser. Claude has it on the phone. But you can actually get AI to act as this persona, and then we can speak to it. And this is really interesting. Okay, so let's use a similar prompt to this. So we're going to jump back to ChatGPT. And in here, we're actually going to use the voice mode so we can have this back and forth conversation with AI. Hi, are you there?
I'm right here, Kyle. What's on your mind today?
I'd like you to act as a specific persona, as a real skeptical donor that really pushes back on all of the programmatic work that I share with you to try and see how I can improve my communication.
Absolutely, I can do that. I'll be that donor who wants to see hard evidence, clear results, and no fluff. When you're ready, present something to me, and I'll challenge it.
Great. So last year, our program was really successful. We actually, reached 100,000 people in providing them with healthy, nutritious food, and we're really proud of it.
100,000 sounds like a big number, but I push back. What does reached actually mean? How do you know the food made a difference to their long-term nutrition? I'd want to see outcomes, not just outputs.
Interesting. So hopefully you can see, you can have this back and forth dialogue. You can actually get a full transcript of this that then you could feed back into AI and get it to analyze and provide you with feedback for improvements. So voice mode and getting AI to act as a specific persona, that combination is just gold. All right, next one you could look at is the board. Simulate a specific type of person from your board. Build 3 personas from your actual board: the systems thinker, the visual learner, the financial focus member. Run the proposal past each one individually and actually see what each type of person is going to come back with. What are going to be the things that they like? What are the things that they potentially could push back on? This is really helpful for preparation. Anytime you need to prepare something. Same for the interviewer. If you're getting interviewed by a journalist that the AI has some sufficient training on, you could just ask AI to act as that person. Interview me in their style. Again, great way to use voice mode. And lastly, you could ask to act as a funder. You're trying to get a grant, a proposal through, and you need this funder to ask important questions so that you are prepared and that you've got all of the information ready and prepared for them. So 4 examples here that I think are really useful in how you can create more general personas, but if you give them specific information about that person, like a name for a journalist or a host on a TV or radio show, it will be able to draw that type of information. But you could also just say an interviewer, act like an interviewer from a TV show, and it's going to, draw through those qualities that they have. All right, so one final prompt just to kind of wrap this up. You can use this at any point, and you can see it's very simple, but act as a specific role or with specific traits in a current state. So that is that act as a persona. We are asking the AI to act as a fundraising expert, as a strategist, as a comedian, or as Shakespeare. I am going to, tell her what you can share. I'm going to share with you a fundraising report. I'm going to share with you my impact report. Your job is to X, Y, and Z and stay in character until I say otherwise. So try it out. I think this is one of the most fun as well as enriching ways we can use AI because it has so much of this data and it can pattern it in a way that provides you with a lot of value. And you can use this technique with really any type of prompt that you're using. If you're drafting a fundraising email, act as a professional fundraising expert with 20 years experience in the field. You also understand behavioral science and human psychology. I love that one because you're kind of bringing in different elements and bringing them together to really help amplify how your output should be. So as I said, I'd love to hear from you. Do you like this TL draw style of learning through a concept? And how are you using personas? Thanks so much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.